17th chapter, Krishna is going to speak about little different subject. Because of Arjuna's question, now Krishna is dealing some different subject. So what is 17th chapter? 17th chapter is Ashastram Asuram Krishnam Shastriyam Gunatah Pritak Lakshanam Shastra Siddhasya Vidita Sapta Dashoditam. So those who are against Shastras are Asuric, and Shastras themselves speak about three kinds of instruction. So this is the subject matter of the 17th chapter. What is it? We should understand. Arjuna's, if you understand Arjuna's question, then you understand what is the subject matter which is dealt in the 17th chapter. Arjuna is asking question in the first shloka itself. He says, those who are following Shastra, those who have read Shastra, those who have understood Shastra, but they are not following Shastra. They know there is Shastra and they accept there is a Shastra, and they have read something, they have knowledge about Shastra, but out of laziness or out of so many other problems, they are not following Shastra. So what kind of person they are? Because previously it is said that if you don't follow Shastra, then you are Asurik. If you follow Shastra, then you are Deva. But now the case is, he knows Shastra, he has the knowledge of Shastra, but he is not acting according to Shastra. So what kind of person he is? This is the situation with us. How? Because we know we have faith in God, and we know there is a God. And how this conception we got this from Shastra. So that means we have faith in Shastra. We have read Shastra, we have faith in Shastra. But even after having faith in Shastra, even we have read Shastras, but we never act according to Shastra. We don't accept Krishna as supreme, and we don't do bhakti, and we start doing so many different kinds of devotion, so many different kinds of religious principles. So this is exactly our situation. We are not exactly Deva, we are not exactly Asuras. We are in between. So Krishna is asking about us. Should be clear. Either you should follow Shastra completely or you reject Shastra completely. If you follow Shastra completely, you are Deva. If you reject Shastra completely, then you are Asura. But our situation is, we know, we accept Shastra. Shastra means when we understand that there is a God, that there is a demigod, that we should worship him. That means you understand Shastra. You accept there is a Shastra, you accept there is a God beyond everything. But even after understanding, even after accepting the Shastric rule, but we don't understand completely, or we don't apply the Shastra completely, means we don't worship Krishna and we start worshipping various other kinds of demigods. So what kind of person we are? We are in between. So whether he is in a Sattvaguna, Rajoguna or Tamoguna, what kind of person he is? That is a question which Krishna asks here, which Arjuna asks here. So these Shastras are pramana for our life. So just now I saw why we are following this Shastra. So now Arjuna is asking this question. He has faith in Shastra, but he doesn't act according to Shastra. So what kind of person he is? So Krishna starts answering. Arjuna, faith can be three types. Means he is accepting Shastra, means he is having faith in Shastra. So this faith can be divided into three types. According to Sattva, Raja and Tamoguna, the Shastric faith can be divided into three types. This faith is based on our impressions, based on our previous vasanas. We have different kinds of faith in our Shastra. So according to Guna, you see the Shastra. Now we are reading the same Bhagavad Gita. But one who is in Tamoguna, he doesn't understand anything, or he understands vaguely here and there something. But one who is in Rajoguna, he sees the Shastra, he starts reading the Bhagavad Gita, and he comes up with strange kind of understanding. And those who are in Sattvaguna, they study this Shastra and they come up with different understanding. Okay, this Bhagavad Gita is very pious and it gives us good knowledge. It is very good. It is our culture. So it is our duty to study this Bhagavad Gita. So they come up with different understanding. Same Shastra, but seen by different people in a different way according to our guna, according to our sattva, raja, tamo guna, in which mode we are situated. So according to our vision, the Shastra, whatever we see, it changes. That's why we say Shastra should be never read on our own. When it is heard or when it is studied under the proper guidance of a devotee, then we can see Shastra properly. So, if you start understanding Shastra on your own, then according to our Sattva, Raja, Tamoguna, we start to see Shastra in these three modes of material nature, and we will get misled by this understanding, by our own understanding. But if you see through devotees, they are above these three gunas, so they can guide you properly and they can also bring you out of this three guna. That's why when this Bhagavad Gita was studied under Srila Prabhupada, it brought so many changes in the hearts of so many people. Why? Because he was not taking us through tamoguna, rajoguna, sattva. He was taking us directly the spiritual in the Suddha Sattva Guna. That's why this Shastra had a different effect. People, those who are in tamoguna, they read Shastra and they have different effect. Those who are in rajoguna, they study, they have different effect. Those who are in sattva guna, they study, they have different effect. But those who study under devotees, they have completely different effect. So that's why we should study Shastra in a proper guidance. So Krishna says here, Arjuna, faith, this faith itself, a quality of a sattva guna. Because if you are unfaith, if you don't have any faith, that means it is tamo guna, raja guna. But if you have a faith, that itself is a sattva guna quality. Having faith itself is a sattva guna quality. But inside that faith, there are three kinds of faith. There are sattva, raja, tamo guna faith. So Krishna starts speaking about this. Everything runs based on this faith. In this world, everything is based on faith. So where this faith exists inside, in our antakarana, in our mind, intelligence, ego, and in our chitta, in our consciousness, this faith exists. So this faith with gunas, it is how our outcome is. So we have a faith and also we have different gunas. So according to our guna, this faith is combined and we perform different kinds of action. So Krishna is going to speak about those kinds of faith and action. So Arjuna's question is clear. Arjuna's question is, those who have faith but they don't follow, but they don't follow exactly. So Krishna is saying, yes, I can understand your question. So the answer is, yes, they have faith, but their faith is under sattva, raja, tamo guna. So those who are in raja and tamo guna, they act in a different way. So Krishna is speaking about those kind of faith in sattva, raja, and tamo guna. So those who are in sattva guna, they worship demigods. Those who are in raja guna, they worship yaksha and rakshasas. Those who are in tamo guna, they worship pisachas and also bhutaganas. So when we say demigods, demigod means usually vasus, ashtavasus, we call it them ashtavashus. So ashtavashus means we have apa, we have varuna, there water, we have dhruva, nakshatra, we have soma, that is moon god, we have dhara, that is earth, we have anila, that is air, that is vayu, we have anala, that is fire god, we have pratusha means we have sandhya god, and we have prabhasa means light. So in Vedic period, this kinds of demigods were worshipped. Those who are in Sattvaguna, they were worshipping this kinds of demigods. And those who are in Rajoguna, they were worshipping so many different kinds of demigods who are Yaksha, Rakshasas, and who are Kuvera, Nairuti. So all these kinds of demigods they were worshipping, those who are in Rajoguna. And those who are in Tamoguna, they were worshipping Pisachas, Pretas. Pretas means fallen Brahmana who has not yet gone for liberation. So they are called Pretas. And we have Bhutaganas. We have followers of Shiva. They are called Bhutaganas. And now if you go to any village, in every village, they have some different kinds of deity. So they are Bhutaganas. They were all worshipped. So they are all in the modes of Tamoguna. So those who don't follow Shastras, their austerity is useless. Now Krishna is speaking about demonic quality. He just explains, he just shows us a difference between demons and also those who know the Shastra but they don't follow Shastra. So here The demons, they also perform so many different kinds of austerities, but they are not guided by Shastras. So what they do Gora Tapasya, and they do it for as a show, and they do with pride, with Ahankara, and they do because of Kama, Krodha, and because of their Kama Raga, because of their attachment for sense gratification. So this kind of tapasya actually disturbs me and this body also. So this kind of people, this kind of asuras or this kind of demons, they're actually making me worry. So what Krishna is saying here, there are three kinds of children, and there are four kinds of children. One child is sattva guna, one child is in rajoguna, and the other child is in tamoguna, and the other child is completely rajas, completely asura. So at least one child is at my home. He's not even doing anything, but he's at my home. And one child is all the time running here and there, making mess at home. And one child, he is listening my word. And there is one kind of child, he's always doing against my will. So they are called asuras. So for mother, this fourth kind of child is headache. Mother has to all the time shout, why are you eating my energy? Why are you eating my head? Why are you eating my prana? Why are you running here and there? Why are you doing like this? He's all the time doing something against mother's will. He's actually doing or destroying for others. He's making things which are against others' will. So they are called demons. So Krishna is speaking about these demons. So he's just making us difference. You see the difference between people in Sattva, Raja, Tamo Guna. At least they are in the realm of Shastra. They are doing something which is related to Shastra. But there are some people who does beyond Shastra or who does against Shastra. So they are the demons and they are the people who cause problems. So Arjuna, you should understand, if these people, they have faith, they understand something, but they're not following fully, means they may be in Rajo and Tamo Guna also. But those people, they don't accept Shastra, they reject completely Shastra and they act according to their own wish, then they are considered to be demons. That means in this situation, in our situation, we should understand there are some devotees who worship Grama Devata, who worship demigods, who worship here and there. That is good. But those who worship man-made God, those who worship false avatars, they are completely demons because they are completely against Shastra. So they are more dangerous. At least those who are worshipping this Grama Devata, they are at some point of time they will get purified. They will accept Supreme Lord. But those who are worshipping this false demigod, those who are worshipping this false avatars, it is impossible for them to come to Lord. That we can see in this world itself. Those who are already worshipping some cheating avatars, man-made, self-made God, you can preach. It is impossible for you to convince them about the Supreme Lord because they're completely fixed. They're against Shastra. So if they're against Shastra, they cannot understand anything. So having said that, now Krishna starts to speak about this Sattva, Raja, Tamo Guna in four places. He speaks this Sattva, Raja, Tamo Guna is present in our food, in our sacrifice, in our charity, in our austerity. So in food, we find these three kinds of qualities. Why Krishna is speaking about this three kinds of gunas? In order to understand, we should understand in what kind of guna we are and how we should develop or how we should elevate ourselves to Sattva Guna. That's why Krishna is speaking about these three gunas in various categories. So he says the Sattva Guna, the food in Sattva Guna. So the food in Sattva Guna means the food which prolongs your life or which has prana in that food, means fresh vegetables or fruits. They are very fresh. They have prana inside, or sprouts, ghee, the honey. So these are all considered as Sattva Guna food because it has prana. It prolongs your life and also it increases your willpower. It produces strength and it is immune to the immune to the diseases. It produces satisfaction, and also it creates appetite immediately. Means it is not that you eat and then you stay like a potato for 6 hours. No, the sattva guna food are very easily digestible, and also it is tasty. It is very mild, but also it is substantial. It is beneficial. So these are the food in sattva guna, and the food should be not. It's not that you should with your teeth you should pull that food, or you should chew it again and again. You should spend so much time in eating, because those who are in Satvaguna, they don't like to spend much time in eating. They just eat fatafat something little bit and then finish. They don't want to waste their time. So Satvaguna food means should be simple, should be full, and also it should create happiness in you. So that is called food in Satvaguna. And Rajoguna food means so much bitter, sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning sensation, deep fry, oil fry, and also pickles. So this all comes under Rajoguna. So it creates sorrow when you're eating. You have tears in your eyes. In stomach it burns. When it comes out it burns. So everywhere it burns. So difficult to eat and difficult to digest. After eating so many different kinds of dead bodies, then people start drinking 7-Up or Coca-Cola water to digest those things. So it is difficult to digest, and it finally it creates disease. So this kind of food are in the Rajoguna. And also we have food in Tamoguna, that is stale food. It stays for a long time and which has no taste. It has very bad smell. It is rotten food. It is left to our, or we eat from others' plate. That is also considered as Tamoguna. It is very impure. It creates laziness, and also it creates very dull memory in our head. So that's why in the Vedic time, the Brahmanas or Brahmacharis or Sannyasis, they eat very simple food, and fridge is meant for dead bodies. Usually to store dead materials, we store in fridge. But what can we say? This Kali Yuga. We cannot say anything now. We should not think so many things about this, because if we start thinking about this, then we cannot practice anything. For us, devotion service is important. Like we said, knowledge is important than action. Whatever action we are doing, it should produce knowledge. If there is no knowledge from our action, then action itself doesn't bring us any result. Like people, they used to follow so many actions. Like they know how to wash their hand, how to take bath, how to brush, how to cook food in a very sattvic. Everything they do, but they forget devotional service, and then there is no use. So without knowledge, without the result of knowledge, just action itself doesn't bring us the result. But action is also important. So in this Kali Yuga, whatever is possible for us to stay in Sattva Guna, it is good. If it is not possible, then everything the Krishna will speak how this can be rectified. In the end of this chapter, he will say, even if there are some discrepancies in our food or in our things, then we can rectify it by certain method. Yes. So this is the food in Sattva Raja Tamo Guna, and Krishna speaks about sacrifice in Sattva Raja Tamo Guna. So sacrifice in Sattva Guna means it should be according to Shastra and no desire for material results, and it is done simply out of duty, and it is meant to satisfy the Lord. So this is how the sacrifice should be done. It is in Sattva Guna. And Rajoguna sacrifice means expecting some results to show others that I am a spiritual person. So this kind of sacrifice is in Rajoguna. And Tamoguna means contrary to scripture, not given food in charity during our yajna, and also no proper mantras, with improper mantras, with so many mistakes we do our yajna. So this kind of yajna is considered in Tamoguna. But in Kali Yuga, we don't do yajna. We have Nama yajna, Nama Japa yajna only. So we don't have to consider too much about it. And also, when the priest is not paid, that is also considered as Tamoguna yajna. And also, without faith, if you do something, that is also, so everything is yajna, right? Yajna means sacrifice. Sacrifice means now we are listening here, correct? Bhagavad Gita, we are listening. So what we are doing, actually, we are sacrificing our time. We are sacrificing our energy. So why we are doing this? For what purpose we are doing this? Whether we are doing it according to Shastra, yes, we study Bhagavad Gita, it is according to Shastra. Whether we are doing it for some any material desire, we should see. Whether we are doing it simply as a duty or whether we are doing it as a satisfaction for the Lord, and whether we are doing with some respect, with expecting some results or to show, or it is done without proper offerings or without proper dakshana, without proper faith or without proper charity, without proper guidance, then we should see whether what kind of sacrifice that we are doing. And austerity,